In an anonymous poll by NBA players, Tyrese Haliburton was voted as the most overrated player in the league. A former player in Wally Zerbiak chimed in and claimed that Tyrese Haliburton was a fake all-star. After the Pacers made the conference finals last season, people claimed it was an absolute fluke given that the New York Knicks and Milwaukee Bucks dealt with major injuries. Even the Sacramento Kings gave up on Tyrese Haliburton despite him wanting to retire in Sacramento. Fast forward to now, and Tyrese Haliburton has made everyone eat their words.
Another note, I just want to address something that I said about Tyrese Haliburton being a wannabe all-star. I want to apologize personally to Tyrese Haliburton. He's a wonderful young player.
And yeah, I mean, overrate that.
And has established himself as not only one of the best point guards in the NBA, but one of the best players in the league. The numbers, the play style, and potential accomplishments suggest that he's this generation's Steve Nash or Chris Paul, with him even passing Chris Paul for the most games in league history with at least 20 points and 10 assists with 0 turnovers. This man is only 25 years of age. Plus, he has the chance to eventually be in the conversation for the greatest pacer of all time, and has a strong case if he goes on to win a championship this season. But before we get into Tyrese Haliburton's play in 2025, we need to take it back to where his Pacers career started. Before the 2022 NBA trade deadline, the Sacramento Kings and the Indiana Pacers made a trade that would drastically change both franchises forever. The Kings drafted Tyrese Haliburton in the lottery of the 2020 NBA draft, and in his brief stint in Sacramento, proved to be one of the more efficient and effective point guards in the league. The problem is, the Kings greatly underwhelmed on both ends of the floor, having the 25th ranked offense, the 27th ranked defense, and were on track to extend their league worst playoff drought. Not only that, the Kings had 2 point guards in their backcourt in De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Haliburton, so they felt it best to deal their young guard in exchange for an all-star center in Domantas Sabonis. Tyrese cried upon hearing about this trade, but what he didn't know is that this was the best possible situation for him. The Pacers were getting a then 21-year-old Tyrese Haliburton, who would now be the franchise's starting point guard for the foreseeable future. After the trade deadline, Tyrese would average 18 points, 10 assists, and 2 steals to end the season, while remaining one of the more efficient point guards in the league, shooting 50% from the field and 42% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. Moreover, he backed it up by having a career year in 2023, becoming an all-star, solidifying himself as one of the best playmakers in the league, and helping the Pacers become a threat in the Eastern Conference when healthy. Through the first 41 games, the Pacers were 23-18, won 8 of the last 10 games, and were at the play-in at 6th in the Eastern Conference. Tyrese averaged 20.7 points, 10.4 assists to just 2.5 turnovers, and on top of his playmaking, he was just one of 6 players that season to shoot at least 40% from 3 or better on at least 7 or more attempts a game, and shot 40% on pull-up threes at around 6 attempts a game. However, after Tyrese Haliburton's injury against the New York Knicks, the team went 1-9 in the last 10 games and couldn't regain form when he was shut down for the remaining 13 games of this season. Regardless, all the signs pointed to the Pacers being a competitive squad if their floor general was healthy, and they would have an unforgettable 2024 season. Tyrese was an All-NBA player, putting up video game numbers, posting a 4.7-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, having a 2-game stretch where he had 32 assists to 0 turnovers, which broke Jason Williams' record for most assists without a turnover in a 2-game span, and had a 5-game span where he had 84 assists to just 6 turnovers. Sticking with this playmaking, Tyrese can not only make every pass in the book, but he also creates easier looks for his teammates, his high IQ and excellent feel for the game allow him to read defenses extremely well and know exactly where his teammates are at any given time. He's effective in the pick and roll, finds bigs off of dump-offs in the paint, finds players filling in the lane or setting up behind the three-point line in transition, and finds shooters at the perimeter on kickout opportunities. In that 2024 season, the Haliburton-led Pacers made a deep run in the in-season tournament, which is now called the NBA Cup. Through 7 games, Tyrese would average 27 points and 13 assists while helping Indy beat the future champs in the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks led by Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard, and making it all the way to the final where they would fall to the Lakers at a neutral site. But the Pacers realized that they had something here and went all in. With great pace and explosive offense and assets to make a big splash, the Pacers traded for All-Star Pascal Siakam and made the playoffs for the first time in the Tyrese Haliburton era. They didn't just make the playoffs, but they were able to beat the Milwaukee Bucks and outlasted the New York Knicks in what was an absolute classic of a series. With that, Tyrese Haliburton made the conference finals in just his first playoff appearance, an astonishing feat since this was Indy's first conference finals since 2014 when Paul George was still there, and the fact that there are other prominent stars in the league that have yet to make the conference finals. On top of everything, the Pacers being there was pretty much a shock since a lot of people penciled in the Celtics and Knicks as the Eastern Conference Finals matchup, but here we had the Indiana Pacers nearly stealing Game 1 in Boston, and it would have done so if it wasn't for a late turnover and a Jaylen Brown 3 to send the game to overtime, which the Celtics eventually won. The Pacers' journey would end in that series against the Celtics in a sweep, but Tyrese Haliburton didn't play in Games 3 and 4, and 3 of those 4 games were pretty much nail-biters. The 2025 season was much of the same for the Pacers, but this time they proved that their 2024 Eastern Conference Finals run wasn't a fluke. Round 1 against the Bucks, Tyrese averaged 18 points and 12 assists while hitting the go-ahead shots over Giannis Antetokounmpo in overtime of Game 5 to clinch the series after the Pacers trailed by 7 points with less than 40 seconds to go in regulation. In round 2, the Pacers were facing a 64-win Cleveland Cavaliers team that has a top 10 net rating of all time, and 11 of ESPN's analysts going into the series all predicted the Cavaliers to win the series. However, Tyrese and the Pacers set the tone early in Game 1 and got the victory, and in Game 2, the Cavs were in the driver's seats, being up 7 points with just 48 seconds to go. But never say never as the Pacers' black magic continued. 2 Siakam free throws, an offensive foul, a Siakam lay-in, and another turnovers put the Pacers in pole position to tie the game. Tyrese drives into the lane and gets fouled, but the Pacers secured an offensive rebound after he misses a second free throw, where this happens. Tyrese hits the game winner to put the Pacers up an improbable 2-0 in a series where they weren't favored, but he actually saved his best performance for Game 5. In that Game 5, the Pacers trailed by 19 points in the second quarter, but Tyrese was masterful leading the comeback. 31 points and 8 assists on 67% from the field, and 60% from 3 is pretty good, and he did a bit of everything to seal the deal for the Pacers in the fourth quarter. Just like that, the Pacers did the impossible, winding up in the conference finals in back-to-back seasons, winning both series in 5, and not only that, Tyrese Haliburton at just age 25 has 2 conference finals on his belt, and 2 conference finals in his 2 playoff appearances. These playoffs, Tyrese Haliburton became the 9th player in league history to begin the playoffs with 4 straight games with a double-double of points and assists. And what now awaits the Pacers is a date with the New York Knicks, a team that they met in the second round of last season where it went 7 games, a historic rivalry, and a series that WWE actually predicted. But big picture, Tyrese Haliburton is All-NBA, an NBA All-Star, and a player who has exceeded expectations that he's had out of the NBA draft. But if you want to learn more about his opponent in Jalen Brunson and how he's changed the New York Knicks, click on the video on the screen above. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hope to see you all in the next one.